Hi everyone. If you're using a yoga mat today, lay it out so that the long edge of the mat lines up with your monitor so that we can mirror one another throughout our practice. Once you've got yourself all set up, find a comfortable seated position. Take a moment to really actively reach down into the floor through your seat so that your spine sits up a little bit longer and taller. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears and just squeeze them back for a second, and then let them settle down the back. All right. So we'll start off with a little bit of breath work today in a practice called Dirga Pranayama, the 3-part breath. And in this breathing practice, we'll be introducing, a little bit more awareness of how we can navigate and control the breath while also developing our lung capacity. So I would invite you to have one hand resting on your chest and the other hand resting on your belly to make this breath feel a little bit more accessible, especially if it's a newer practice to you. Let's bring our eyes to close and take a comfortable breath. And at first, simply notice where your breath is naturally inclined to travel. Do you feel it present in your chest? Take another round, and as you breathe in, do you feel it in your belly? Do you maybe even feel it in the sides of the body or in the back? So notice what your natural state is. But then the next time that you breathe out, empty all of the breath out completely. And see if you can stay empty for just a moment, and when you're ready to breathe in, through the nose, breathe in, but fill up just the lowest third of your lungs. You'll feel your belly expand. Hold the breath a moment, and then breathe into the space between your hands. Hold the breath a moment, and breathe up into your heart center. Hold the breath a moment, and then exhale slowly, emptying first from the top, then through the middle, and then through the belly. Once you're empty, take a quick little pause, and then try it again. Breathe in, fill up your belly. Pause. Breathe in, fill up the middle section. Pause. And breathe in, fill up the heart center. Hold the breath. And breathe out slowly. Empty from the top down. Good. Again, inhale, fill up the belly. Pause. Now the middle section. Pause again. And now the heart center. Hold the breath. And exhale slowly from the top all the way down. Be empty for a moment. And again, inhale, fill up the belly. Pause. Inhale, fill up the middle section. Pause. And now as you inhale, fill up the upper chest. Retain. And release. And now rest your hands, and as you breathe in, lift the arms out and up, and feel a really smooth inhalation traveling from the belly up to the top of the chest. And as you exhale, release the arms out and down. So we're letting go of any interruption or any retention and allowing the breath to instead just move freely. Breathe in from the belly up and out from the top down. And as we take about 3 more rounds of breath, you might even encourage yourself to visualize a light that's coming in and filling the body from the floor all the way up. Exhale as you release that light out and down. And again, breathe in light. Let it fill your body from the lower half all the way up to the top. And exhale, release the light out and down. So just one more round. And feel how we can let even something as simple as the breath embody an intention of balance between giving and receiving, between alertness and ease. Okay. And once you've let go of this breath, let's just softly blink the eyes open, and we'll stay tall and upright. And with the breath in, stretch the right arm up alongside of your right ear, and then walk your left hand over to the left as you exhale and lean over into a little side stretch. So go just as far as feels really good to your body, and as you reach down through your right hip, roll the right shoulder back towards the wall at your back, look up to the ceiling. Relax your legs, and as you breathe, see if you can get your breath to travel from your lower belly all the way up to the top of your chest. And as you exhale, release from the top all the way down. Now inhale, lift all the way back up to your center and reach your left arm up alongside of your ear. As you exhale, reach overhead to your right. Take a long breath in as you plug down through your left hip and reach out through your left fingertips. Roll your heart up towards the ceiling. Breathe out completely. And just find another round or two. I would lift the eye gaze up to the ceiling so that the heart is encouraged to continue turning in the same direction. It'll just help you to feel as though you're opening into a little bit more space. Stay for a last breath. And let it go. And with your next, rise up to your center, take a breath. And as you release your breath, find a simple spinal twist to your left. Plug down through your hips, grow a little bit taller as you breathe in, broadening your shoulders. And then exhale, turn away from me. And look over your left shoulder. Feel the bones of your seat still as evenly balanced as can be. Your spine as long and upright as can be. Good. And then as you turn back to your center, lift that left arm up to the ceiling. And we're just going to release and stack our elbows and bring our hands together into eagle. Find a moment raising your elbows up and then lower them down. Stack them right in front of your shoulders. Pull a little bit to one side and then just a little bit to the other side. And working just a hint further into our shoulder mobility, let's come to the center, release the hands, turn the thumbs down, and interlace the fingers. Raise the arms up, softening your elbows, but once your hands are pointing up to the ceiling, hug the arms in, press your head a little bit back into your arms, and you'll feel a really kind of strong sense of opening start to emerge through your mid-upper back and across your upper ribs. Okay. Take another deep breath in. Reach as high as you can reach, and then exhale, release the arms out and down. You might feel a little tingle through your shoulders. Good. Sit up tall, take a breath, and now as you exhale, find a spinal twist over to your right. So you can lay your left hand on your right knee, place your right hand behind your back, and as you press down through your seat and through your right hand, you'll feel yourself grow taller. With an exhalation, twist your heart a little bit further to the right, and look over your shoulder. Find just a few more breaths here, incrementally growing longer with your inhalations, while you revolve any further deeply on your exhalations when the body has a little bit more space available. Start to turn forward, and you can reach that right arm up And then release, cross your elbows and bring your hands together into eagle arms. And one last time, just lift up the elbows for a moment, breathe in. Pull them down a bit, breathing out. Draw them a hit to one side, feel a little stretch through one shoulder. And then come over to the other side and feel the other shoulder. Then as you come back into your center, release the hands apart, thumbs down, interlace the fingers, soften the elbows so that it's easier to lift the arms straight up. But then with that they're up overhead, hug them in. Press your head a little bit back, relax the inner legs. And as you breathe in deeply, guide your breath all the way from low belly up to the top of the heart center. And exhale as you release. All right, let's find a circle of our shoulders and let it all go. All right, turn to face the left side of your mat and rise up onto your hands and knees. So once you're here in a table position, find a deep breath in, lifting up your gaze and your chest and your tailbone into what we call a cow stretch. And then as you exhale, round the back and press the ground away into a cat stretch. Find that again as you breathe in, lift up your gaze, open up the shoulders, and when you exhale, round the back and gaze in towards your belly. Take that just a few more times. Long, deep breaths in, twirl the shoulders open. Full, mindful breaths out as you press the palms firmly into the earth. Inhale deeply. Lift up the gaze and the tailbone. And exhale completely round and press away from the floor. Take one more round. Now coming into a flat back, curl your right toes under and pick up your right knee. So it'll look like one half of your body is doing a plank position, but your left knee is still supporting your weight on the ground. If you just let your hands now press into the mat, you can push your right heel back and feel a little bit of a stretch opening up through your right calf muscles. So hang on to that for a few moments and feel your low belly engaging to support your low back. Gaze to the floor right at the front edge of your mat so that your neck is nice and long. And just hold for another moment. And then we'll turn this into a gate pose by turning the right heel down to the floor. You might like to let your left foot kick back a little bit for balance. And then as you breathe in, sweep the right arm up to the ceiling. Or if you're comfortable taking it further, bring it all the way overhead alongside of your ear. So we're not only going to keep the right foot grounded here, but we'll actually reach into the ground through it. And as we do, we'll probably start to feel a little bit more sensation opening up through the right side waist. Okay, so a couple of long, deep breaths. And throughout the practice, we're going to keep cueing our attention to guiding the breath from the low belly all the way up to the top of the chest and allow it to release from the chest right back down. Stay for one more. And then as you're ready to release, look down to the floor and bring your hand right back down. So coming back onto the ball of your right foot, the right leg is still strong. Cross your right leg now behind your left leg. So you're going to take that foot away from me and also turn your shoulders away from me to take a peek at your foot. And that'll again pull you into a little bit more side stretch, some sensation of stretch opening up through the right torso. Now look forward and slide your right leg all the way out to the side. Place your foot down onto the floor so that it's fully grounded. We're coming into a gentle variation of threading the needle. So what you'll do is take your left hand, the one that's furthest from your monitor, and slide it underneath your right arm to twist towards me, and let your shoulder come all the way down onto the floor. Once you have your shoulder down on the floor, you can use the right hand that's on the ground and press softly into the floor to help guide your right shoulder further back. We'll keep that right leg really strong. The right foot is fully grounded so that we don't fall over. But if you wanted to add a little bit more opening to your chest and shoulders, you could then raise your arm up to the ceiling and wrap it around your back. Maybe even hang on to your left inner thigh. So gaze wherever you're comfortable gazing, but then let your eyes be still. And see if you can still find the room in your body to receive a really mindful breath. If you find that the breath is too restricted, back off and make some adjustments to the posture. Good. Now just bring your hand right back down to the floor. And take your time lifting up as you breathe in. Stay put and just breathe out completely. Make sure that you're not dizzy. It's a little bit of an inversion. And then tuck your back toes under and walk your hands back so that you're standing up now on your left knee with your right leg still extended towards me. So as we lift up the chest, we're going to turn a little bit to the left and rest the left hand on the heel. And finally sweep the right arm up alongside of the ear. Or if you're comfortable, even start to tilt a little bit back into a half camel. So as your arm is reaching back, your heart is starting to turn towards the ceiling. Your hips are pressing forward by some degree. And we're bringing attention right back into the movement of a breath that travels from the low belly all the way up to the top of the chest and is released from the chest back down. Good. To release out, bend your left knee more deeply, circle your hand down. And then just bring two hands forward onto your hands and knees as we began. Slide your right leg back and step into a downward facing dog. And when you land in that downward facing dog, you might like to slowly walk out your legs for a few moments. Now release two knees down to the floor. Place your left foot in between your hands. And then as you tuck your back toes under, you're just going to turn a quarter of the way to face the long side of your mat. Set your feet up to be parallel to one another and take a deep breath in looking up. And when you breathe out and start to fold forward, fold without any sense of expectation. Feel the front of each leg strong and active. Feel your chest as open as can be. But know that you're not trying to touch the head to the floor. You're just sort of noticing what you feel on each side of the body. Now walk your hands forward and quarter turn to the right. Place your back knee down and come onto your hands and knees. Let's take a moment just to open up the chest in a cow stretch. Take a deep breath in and then exhale as we round the back. And again, inhale, open up the chest, lift up the tailbone, and exhale as we round the back. So we'll just take about 3 more rounds. The value of finding some simple and repetitive movement like this is that it helps us to create more mobility through our joints. It frees up mobility at the joint capsule and allows the synovial fluids to travel a little bit more freely. So it's not about feeling a big stretch or strength per se, but just creating more space, more comfort. All right, so let's flatten out now into a simple table position. We're going to curl the left toes under and pick up the left knee and then use the hands to press the mat forward. If your wrists are sensitive, walking the hands further forward will be a little bit more comfortable because the angle at the wrist isn't quite as acute. Otherwise, hands right beneath the shoulders. Orient your chest and your gaze towards the front of your mat. Pull your low belly just a little bit forward. So find another really comfortable breath. And then take your left heel and drop it down to the floor. You might toggle your right foot a little bit back away from me. And we'll come into gate pose. So send your left arm straight up to the ceiling. You might like to hold it just as it is. Or if you want a little bit more side stretch, bring it alongside of the ear. And really actively engage that extended leg. Feel that your left leg is pressing firmly into the floor. You might find just a slight little sense of drawing your tailbone towards me. Tune into the movement of your breath and see if you can get the breath to fill all three regions that you keep connecting your attention to. Lower belly, midsection, and heart center. Okay, now look down to the floor, and as you circle your left hand down, come onto the ball of your left foot again. Now cross your left leg behind your right leg. Toes are going to stay curled under. And when you turn your chest away from me and look over your right shoulder towards your foot, you'll start to feel, again, a little bit more side stretch opening up through that left side waist. Pull your low belly up just a fraction. It'll help to create more space in your low back. So now bring your gaze forward. And dial your left leg until it's about 90 degrees out from your hip. It's facing me. So with your left foot lined up with your right knee, start to take your right hand, the one that's further from me, underneath your left hand and place your shoulder down onto the floor. And then experiment with the alignment of that shoulder. If you feel stuck, sometimes we bring the shoulder a little bit too close to the knee and it feels kind of crowded or too far away. So give yourself plenty of room to experiment and explore and find the spot that seems just right for you. Once you've found that spot, begin to press more deeply into your left fingertips to turn your heart up to the ceiling. You can stay as you are, or perhaps lift the arm up and wrap it around the back to hang on to your right inner thigh. So I like to here even feel for taking that top hip and bringing it down. So it's almost like wringing yourself out. Let your shoulders turn in opposition from your hips. And take a couple of long, easy breaths. If it's not easy to breathe, make an adjustment in your posture. Let's release. Place your hand down. And since this is a little bit of inversion, the heart is lower than the hips, let's come up onto our hands and just stay put for a moment so that we avoid any dizziness. And then we'll start to walk the hands back and rise up into a simple kneeling stance. So curl your back toes under. Your right toes are curled under. This left leg is going to stay straight and strong. And as you turn a fraction away from me, you can bring your right hand onto your heel and send your left arm initially just alongside of your ear. But if you feel comfortable, start to drop back like you would in a regular camel pose, where your heart starts to face the ceiling and your arm can actively reach back. So long, easy breaths. And then to release out, pull a little bit back, circle your hand down, and bring your hands back into a table position. All right, take your left leg and slide it straight back. And then step back into a downward facing dog again. And this time, let's open up our feet to about hip or shoulder width distance apart. Lift up the tailbone and pull the chest back towards the thighs, allowing the neck to relax, the thighs to be really strong, the chest to be broad, and the breath to be steady. Place your knees down. And now bring your right foot just inside of your hands. Tuck your back toes under, and we'll quarter turn to face the long side of the mat again. So just as we did earlier, set up the feet parallel to one another. They're approximately one leg's length apart from each other. Take a breath in, lifting up your chest and your tailbone. And then as you exhale, again, fold forward and let the top of your head fall down towards the floor. So reach enough that you feel some challenge, but not nearly enough to encounter any strain. This is a great shape to bring attention to a bit more exhalation. And if, as you emphasize your exhalation, you can draw it out just a little bit further along, you might find that the body starts to relax further. That relaxation doesn't necessarily imply in any way that suddenly the posture becomes easy or the sensation is diminished, but the resistance is gone. We're not fighting it. So stay here for just another breath. With your next, walk your hands forward and just find a halfway lift. And then take your heels in and bend both of your knees. Bring your hands onto your thighs and start to straighten out your arms. Sink into your shoulders for just a second. Give yourself a breath. And then slowly stand up the rest of the way. All right. So now that you're standing upright, point your toes forward again, and you'll find you have a much shorter stance than we had a moment ago. Let's take our hands to the hips, lift up the chest, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, slide your hands down, grab onto your big toes. Take a peek up to the monitor and lift up your tailbone. Find a deep breath in, and then exhaling again, bend the elbows and let your spine hang upside down. Now it's totally normal for your toes to be out of reach, and if you find that your flexibility does not give you enough space to grab onto your toes easily, just bend your knees further. So it's better that the shape have the knees bent so that the spine can be long than that the legs be forced to be straight and the back winds up rounding to compensate. Find a position that works for you. Now look forward, bring your fingertips to the ground, draw your heels in again so your stance is even more narrow than it was a few moments ago. And now start to lean back into your heels and bend the knees until you're almost into a squat. And then extend the legs again, take a deep breath. And come down just a little bit further as you breathe out. And one more time, extend the legs, lean a little bit forward. And then bend the knees deeply, and we'll come into a prayer squat. If it's comfortable, you can bring your hands to your heart center. Close the eyes, rest your inner eye gaze at the third eye. So right again at that place above and between the brows. Breathe comfortably for 4. 3. 2. And with 1, bring your hands to the ground. Press down through your heels, extend your legs. Point your toes forward again, and then fold as you exhale. Now walk your hands forward. Gently lower your knees to the ground, cross your ankles, and have a seat. Right. So now that we're seated, let's extend our legs out for a wide angle. Press down through the seat, grow a little bit taller, and then begin to walk the hands forward into a fold. Don't worry about how far you get down. Right. Feel for a spot that presents some challenge, but where it's still comfortable and easy to breathe. I like to keep an eye on the legs, and throughout the fold, try to really intentionally press down through the thighs and keep the knees pointed up towards the ceiling. Now rise up and just swing your left leg over to meet your right. Scoot your hips a little bit further up the mat and lie down onto your back. Now that you're lying down, take both of your knees into your chest for a hug. And then step your left foot onto the floor and hug your right knee in towards your chest. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and hug the left leg in towards your belly. As you're pulling the left leg towards your chest, keep moving the right leg away from the chest until you feel a stretched surface through your outer right hip. While you're holding here, look to keep the whole back of your body flat against the ground. So stay for another breath. And then let go. And let's cross the knees and let your knees fall over to your left. So they're falling towards me. Turn your gaze away from me. Pull a long, deep breath from the lowest part of your belly all the way up to the highest part of your heart. And release it from the top down. And then come back into the middle. Uncross your legs and take your left ankle over your right leg. Pull your knee in towards your chest. Keep the back body flat against the floor. And breathe. So stay right up alongside a challenge. Come into enough sensation that your mind doesn't drift away, but not so much sensation that it's at all difficult to breathe. And then as we let go, we're just going to cross the legs the rest of the way, knee over knee. Some people are even comfortable crossing ankles. And then you can drop your legs over to your right and let your chin fall to your left. Find a couple of long, comfortable breaths that fill you from the low belly all the way up to the top of the chest. And release from the chest back down. Alright, good. So come back to your center. Uncross the legs, and then bring your feet onto the floor. Let your knees fall apart into a resting butterfly shape. Bring your hands to your legs and find a little press of your thighs away from the rest of your body so that your low back gets a nice sense of tractioning. And then support your legs in coming together, and we'll just hug the knees into the chest and lift our nose up to our knees. Curl in for a good embrace And then find your way into Savasana. So take your final relaxation in whichever posture is most comfortable. Whether that's a reclined pose or a belly down pose or a side lying posture, doesn't matter at all. Make sure that you're warm, that you feel supported, and then give yourself space to do absolutely nothing for a couple of minutes. Just be. Begin to deepen your breath. Spread your fingers wide. Take a long reach of your arms all the way back. And let your toes snake a little bit further forward. And then walk your feet in. And just rock your knees side and side a couple of times before ultimately turning all the way to one side. And then keeping your eyes closed, come back up to find a comfortable seat. And let your awareness of sensation help to inform your alignment. Feel the bones of your seat actively reaching down into the floor. Let the skin at the back of your neck pull up a little further to the ceiling. Feel your arms relaxed and heavy. And take a moment just to feel completely stable, alert, and still calm, aware, and unrattled. Breathe in and feel yourself filling your whole body with breath from the belly, through the middle, up to the heart center. And exhale as you release from the top down. And just take one more deep cleansing breath here. Fill yourself with light from the bottom up. And then offer that light out to the world around you. Peace. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good one.